Making headlines tonight. Prime Minister Hun Sen has requested the government of Laos to strengthen border trade relations with 4 provinces that border with Laos. Prime Minister Hun Sen has announced on Sunday that the mask-wearing mandate would be lifted in the provinces of Ratanakuri, Montemakuri, Staiteng and Prefeiture. Tension rises between incumbent Emmanuel Macron and challenger Marine Le Pen for the French presidency. Novak Djokovic plans to use the challenging experiences he's endured this year as fuel for the rest of the season. And after a 2-year absence, people are antsy to celebrate the Khmer New Year, the Year of the Tiger, early with a fantastic festival held at Morodok Tekchol National Stadium. This is the Daily Roundup on EAC News Channel. A very good evening to you. I'm Anthony Ellis. Prime Minister Hun Sen has requested the government of Laos to strengthen border trade relations after he decided to lift mask-wearing protocols in 4 provinces, including Ratanakuri, Staiteng and Prefeiture provinces, which border with Laos. He made this request while meeting with the new Lao ambassador to Cambodia, Bao Kiao Pum Vong Say, on Monday morning. EAC News reporter Decca Nin has the story.
During the meeting between the new Lao ambassador to Cambodia, Bu Kai Phum Vong Say, and Prime Minister Hun Sen at the Peace Palace on Monday morning, the Prime Minister praised the long-standing relationship between Cambodia and Laos and urged for the further enhancement and strengthening of this relationship. He particularly urged Laos to increase trade relations with Cambodia, especially in the border provinces, where COVID-19 cases are low and mask wearing has also been lifted, making the conditions in those provinces increasingly conducive for trade. The Prime Minister's personal assistant, Ian Sopolite, told reporters after the meeting that Prime Minister Hun Sen informed Ambassador Phum Vong Say about lifting the mask mandate in 3 provinces bordering Laos, which now have a better situation in relation to COVID-19. In this regard, the Prime Minister requested Ambassador Phum Vong Say to boost economic activities along the border and to look at other potential trade opportunities under the new circumstances. It should be noted that trade between Cambodia and Laos jumped from more than $10 million in 2019 to more than $100 million in 2020. During the meeting, the new Lao ambassador to Cambodia also thanked Prime Minister Hun Sen and the Cambodian people for providing assistance to the Lao government in the fight against COVID-19. He pledged that during his mission in Cambodia, he would work to strengthen the relationship between the 2 countries. On Sunday, 10th of April, Prime Minister Hun Sen announced through a special voice message that mask-wearing restrictions would be lifted in Ratanakuri, Montemakuri, Staiteng and Prefeiture provinces, not as a test of people's lives, but in order to gauge the resilience of the Cambodian community after the success of the vaccination campaign. Decca Nin, EAC News.
Prime Minister Hun Sen announced on Sunday that the mask-wearing mandate could be lifted in the provinces of Ratanakuri, Montemakuri, Staiteng and Prefeiture. Those who reside in these 4 provinces can decide whether to wear masks or on their own violation. EAC News reporter Dashana Guchin has further details.
In a special message released by Prime Minister Hun Sen on Sunday, 10th April, he stated that the decision to lift the mask-wearing mandate for the provinces of Ratanakuri, Montemakuri, Staiteng, and Prefeiture is to test the COVID-19 resilience and herd immunity Cambodia has built in the local community through the successful implementation of the national vaccine campaign and other government-ordered safety measures.
យើងសាកល្បងនេះមិនមែនយកជីវិតរបស់ប្រជាជនទៅសាកល្បងទេក៏ប៉ុន្តែយើងចង់ដឹងអំពីភាពធន់ភាពសន្តិសហគមន៍របស់យើងទាំងទីក្រុងនិងជនបទហើយខេត្តដែលយើងដាក់ឲ្យអនុវត្តនេះជាខេត្តដែលគ្មានឆ្លងហើយក៏មានបើមានក៏មានតិចតួចណាស់
Prime Minister Hun Sen added that lifting mask-wearing protocols means that citizens can choose to wear or not wear masks by themselves, and tourists will also have the same right in the 4 stated provinces. He further reminded that mask-wearing rules will still strictly apply outside these provinces. The Prime Minister also ordered the Minister of Economy and the Minister of Health to chair a meeting on measures to be taken for these 4 provinces with mask-wearing protocols lifted, while the 4 provincial administrations must prepare COVID-19 rapid tests in case there are any suspected COVID-19 infections identified, and those suspected cases must be immediately tested. The mask-wearing mandate was officially lifted in these 4 provinces on Sunday. Darshana Gochan, EAC News.
Cambodia has risen second place as the fastest country in the world to recover from COVID-19, according to the Nikkei COVID-19 Recovery Index. EAC News reporter Snowpaul Kong has more details.
Japan newspaper Nikkei maintained a COVID-19 recovery index that assesses country and region around the world on infection management, vaccine rollout, and social mobility. The higher the ranking, the closer a place is to recovery from COVID-19, characterized by fewer infections, bigger inoculation rate, and less strict social distancing measure. On Sunday, 10 April, the Ministry of Tourism published the result from the Nikkei Index, which shows that Cambodia currently maintains second place with 80.5 points, and the United Arab Emirates stay at the first place with 85.5 points. Cambodia's second place ranking on the Nikkei Index was previously highlighted in February. The first COVID-19 cases in Cambodia was detected on 27 January in a Chinese national traveling directly from the city of Wuhan, where the global COVID-19 outbreak began to Cambodia. On 3 November 2020, Cambodia discovered its first community-transmitted cases of COVID-19 following the visit of the Hungarian foreign minister to Cambodia. Later that month, on 28 November, Cambodia reported a second bout of community-transmitted cases involving 41 people who had visited several shops and Aeon Mall in Phnom Penh. A few months later, Cambodia experienced its most significant COVID-19 outbreak yet with the now infamous 20 February community event, which started after two foreigners with positive COVID-19 results broke out of the mandatory quarantine and visited clubs in Phnom Penh. This event started the biggest COVID-19 outbreak within the kingdom, leading to curfews, lockdown, and other strict measures. However, the successful rollout of the large-scale national vaccination campaign along with strict health measures and safety precautions put in place has allowed Cambodia to control the COVID-19 outbreak, even through the Delta and Omicron variants. As a result, Prime Minister Hun Sen first announced the official reopening of the country on 1 November 2021, saying that people must now adapt and learn to live with the COVID-19 in the path of the new normal trajectory. Then, on 20 December 2021, the Prime Minister announced the closing of the 20 February community event, which lasted for 10 months and caused 124,023 people to be infected and 3,005 people to lose their life to COVID-19. As of 10 April 2022, Cambodia has vaccinated 92.78% of its 16 million population. Srebokong, EAC News.
The 15,000 real banknote issued in 2019 to mark the 15th anniversary of his King Norodom Sihamoni's coronation day on the 20th of October 2004 has received the Best New Banknote Award in the Resistance International 18th High Security Printing Asia Conference held in Yokohama, Japan. EAC News reporter Decca Nin has more details.
The news of this award was shared by the governor of the National Bank of Cambodia, Chichanto, in a letter to Prime Minister Hun Sen on Friday, 8th of April, and which was quoted by the Press and Quick Reaction Unit at the Office of the Council of Ministers. Governor Chichanto stated that the commemorative 15,000 real note was recognized for its outstanding technical excellence in both designs and security. He added that the Vice President of the Langquart AG of Switzerland, Antonio Cesario Ricardo, paid a visit to Cambodia on the 6th of April on behalf of the Reconnaissance International to deliver the 2019 Asia Pacific Best New Banknote Award to the National Bank of Cambodia. The High Security Printing Asia Conference gives out a series of awards, including Best New Banknote, Best New Series, and Best New Commemorative Banknote. The 15,000 real note is purple, pink, and blue in color, and 170mm long and 75mm wide. The note depicts a portrait of His Majesty King Norodom Sihamoni on the front and a picture of His Majesty and his parents on the back, along with the sentence, "Congratulations on the 15th anniversary of the coronation of His Majesty, ព្រះបាទសម្ដេចព្រះបរមនាថ Norodom Sihamoni, 29th October 2004 to 29th October 2019. Dekanin, EAC News.
The Cambodian Southeastern Asian Game Organising Committee held a hybrid meeting for the Southeastern Asian Games Federation Council in Siem Reap from the 8th to the 10th of April. The meeting was attended by delegates from all ASEAN member states both physically and virtually to discuss the process and the beginning of made thus far by Cambodia in hosting the SEA Games in 2023, as well as any challenges that may be encountered. EAC News reported that Shana Guchin has more.
The three-day meeting in Siem Reap was attended physically by delegates from Cambodia, Thailand, Malaysia, Indonesia, Singapore, the Philippines, and Laos, while delegates from Vietnam, Myanmar, Brunei, and Timor-Leste joined in via online video conference. The delegates discussed what progress had been made so far and what challenges Cambodia may have faced in preparing to host the 2023 SEA Games. According to the Secretary General of the Cambodian SEA Games Organizing Committee, Vat Chamrun, ASEAN member states have shown support for the different kinds of sports and other plans proposed by Cambodia for the 32nd SEA Games. The official opening ceremony for the meeting also took place on Sunday, 10th April, under the presidency of the Minister of National Defense and President of CAMSOC, Deputy Prime Minister Thia Ban. Cambodia proposes some 40 different sports categories for the SEA Games in 2023. Darshana Gauchan, EAC News.
Cambodia has reported 16 new COVID-19 cases, none of which are imported. There have been 21 patient recoveries and no new deaths. The Kingdom has now recorded 15,522 cases of Omicron, 1,353 imported, and 14,169 community cases. Cambodia's COVID-19 case tally has now climbed up to 135,963. The death toll stands at 3,055. The number of patients treated successfully since the pandemic reached Cambodia is 132,639, and the tally of imported cases have climbed up to 21,210. Healthcare workers are currently treating a total of 193 patients. Now for a look at the news making international headlines this Monday, 11th of April.
Russia on Saturday warned the US of direct military confrontation should the US-led Western states continue pumping Ukraine with weapons and ammunition. Russia Ambassador to the United States Anatoly Antonov made the remarks during an interview with New York-based Newsweek, adding that Ukraine is now stuffed up with Western weapons. Prior to the ambassador's statement, British Prime Minister Boris Johnson on Saturday vowed to provide more economic and military assistance to Kyiv amid the Ukraine-Russia conflict after meeting with Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky for a one-day visit. German Defense Minister Christine Lambrecht said Saturday that Germany has almost exhausted its ability to supply Ukraine with weapons from its army reserves. She added that direct deliveries from the arms industry are possible. Foreign ministers of the North Atlantic Treaty Organization member states on Wednesday held a meeting in Brussels on stepping up military support for Ukraine. NATO Secretary General Jens Stoltenberg said that some allies are already providing a significant amount of advanced heavy weapons for Ukraine and that he expected the foreign ministers would make more commitments on how NATO can further support Ukraine. United States Secretary of State Antony Blinken said on Tuesday that the U.S. will provide an additional $100 million in security assistance to Ukraine, including anti-armor systems. Russia on Saturday demolished 65 military facilities of the Ukrainian army during an air assault, including 4 command posts and communication stations, 3 arsenals, and 41 strong points and weapon storage points, according to the Russian Defense Ministry. Meanwhile, the intensive shelling in Kharkov still continued, said a Ukrainian military spokesman on Saturday, adding that the Russian army is also amalgamating infantry and armored divisions to intensify operations in Donetsk and Lugansk. The two sides conducted 2 rounds of prisoner exchanges on Saturday night and Sunday, involving 4 employees of Rosatom State Nuclear Energy Corporation and some soldiers. According to the human rights representative of the Russian Federation, Tatiana Moskalikova, the Russian government said Sunday that it has raised its reserve fund by 273.4 billion rubles, or $3.4 billion, to ensure economic stability in the face of external sanctions. The largest source of the increase, or 271.6 billion rubles, was additional oil and gas revenues received in the first quarter of 2022, the government said in a statement. Russia's reserve fund was created to finance unforeseen expenses and significant measures not covered by the federal budget.
Pope Francis on Sunday, the 10th of April, called for Easter truce in Ukraine, leading to negotiations and peace. Put the weapons down, he said, at the end of the Palm Sunday service for tens of thousands of people at St. Peter's Square. Let an Easter truce start, but not to rearm and resume combat, but a truce to reach peace through a real negotiations, he said. Earlier this morning, Pope Francis condemned the folly of war, and he led Palm Sunday services into St. Peter's Square, saying in a reference to Ukraine that those who cause mothers to mourn and soldiers to kill know nothing of God. Since the war began, Francis has only mentioned Russia specifically in prayers, such as during a special global event for the peace on March 25th. But he has referred to Russia by using terms such as invasion and aggression. Last Wednesday, the 6th of April, he condemned the massacre of Bucha, and he kissed the Ukraine flag sent from the town where tired bodies shot and close range littered the streets after Russian troops withdrew, and the bodies poked out of the mass grave at the church. The Kremlin says allegations Russian forces committed war crimes by executing civilians, including in Bucha, were a monstrous forgery aimed at deterrorating the Russian army.
Tunisian on Sunday, April 10, protested against President Kais Saied, accusing him of imposing one-man rule in the North African country after he dissolved parliament last month. A political crisis in the country intensified last month when more than half of the members of parliament held an online session to revoke Saied's decrees. I think that Kais Saied has become the problem and dialogue should take place with all other bodies in order to stop the populist advance Kais Saied is carrying out. One of the leaders of the Citizen Against the Coup movement, Johar Ben Mabrak, said. Many members of parliament participated in the protests on Sunday, which took place with a heavy presence of anti-riot police. Protesters chanted, "The people want to overthrow the coup." After last month's online session with Saied dissolved, anti-terrorism police summoned the main opposition figure Rached Hanoshi and other lawmakers for questioning, prompting criticism from abroad as well as at home. A delegation from the European Parliament will visit Tunisia on Monday to urge the return of the democracy established after 2011 revolution that ended the autocratic rule of the late President Zine El Abidine Ben Ali. Saied took control of executive power in the middle of last year and has ruled by decree, which his opponent described as a coup. He has rejected his opponent's accusation and said he would hold talk on political reforms, but that traitor and thief would not participate in talks. Saied has previously said he would form a committee to rewrite the constitution, put it into a referendum in July, and then hold parliamentary election in December. The country's two main parties, Ennahda and Free Constitutional, which are bitterly opposed, have both said that they will oppose those plans.
Faced with a runoff between incumbent Emmanuel Macron and challenger Marine Le Pen for the French presidency, left-wing newspaper Libération stuck with a sombre mood with its front page for Monday the 10th of April.
This time it's really bad, declared the daily paper as far-right nationalist Le Pen and pro-European economic liberal Macron are set to go head-to-head on April 24th in a tightly fought race reminiscent of 2017's election, where Macron won over two-thirds of eligible votes. With partial results putting Macron in first place ahead of Le Pen after the first round voting on Sunday, other major candidates admitted defeat. Except for another far-right candidate, Eric Zemmour, they all urged voters to block the far right in the second round. But after 5 years in power in which his abrasive style has upset many, while Le Pen succeeded in softening her image, Macron will not be able to count on voters' traditional anti-far right front. Nothing is decided, and the battle we will wage in the next 15 days will be decisive for France and Europe, Macron told supporters, urging all voters to rally behind him on April 24th to stop the far right from ruling the European Union's second-largest economy. IFOP pollsters predicted a very tight runoff, with 51% for Macron and 49% for Le Pen. The gap is so tight that victory either way is within the margin of error.
Pakistan's lower house of parliament on Sunday the 9th of April voted in favour of removing Prime Minister Imran Khan from office, following a nearly 14-hour standoff between opposition and Khan's ruling party that started on Saturday morning the 8th of April. Opposition parties were able to secure 174 votes in the 342-member House in support of the no-confidence motion. The House Speaker said, making it a majority vote, there were just a few legislators of Khan's ruling party present for the process. The vote means Khan will no longer hold office, that the country's lower house will now elect a new Prime Minister and government. The 69-year-old who steered Pakistan's Cricket World Cup victory in 1992 to come power in 2018 after rallying the countries behind his vision of a corruption-free, prosperous nation respected on the world stage. But the firebrand nationalist fame and charisma may not be enough to keep him in power. He could not deliver on all of his lofty promises and failed to advert on economic deadline policy sparked by the COVID-19 pandemic. The opposition has said it wants early elections, but only after delivering a political defeat to Khan and passing legislation it says it's required to ensure the next polls are free and fair. Pakistan's Elections Commission said on Thursday the earliest it could hold a ballot was in October. Residents fled from the cities of eastern Ukraine's Donetsk region on Sunday 10th of April after Russian rocket attacks on a train station in Kramatorsk killed over 50 people.
Streets across Slovanek, a city around 20 kilometers from Kramatorsk, appear empty on Sunday. A local military official said that the number of people taking the train in Slovanek had dropped significantly since the attack on Kramatorsk. "We will fight to the death. It's our land, and we are not going to surrender," said Oleksiy Goncharenko, a member of the Ukrainian parliament who is currently in Kramatorsk. Russia has failed to take any major city since it launched its invasion on February 24, but Ukraine says it has been gathering its forces in the east for a major assault and has urged people to flee. Authorities began evacuating civilians from the city and towns in the east on Thursday, April 8, ahead of an anticipated Russian offensive. Mounting civilian casualties have triggered widespread international condemnation and new sanctions, in particular over hundreds of deaths in the town of Buga, to the northwest of Kyiv that until just over a week ago was occupied by Russian forces. Moscow has rejected accusations of war crime by Ukraine and Western countries. It has denied targeting civilians in what it calls special operation to demilitarize and denazing its southern neighbor. Ukraine and Western nations have dismissed this as a baseless pretext for war. Russia is seeking to establish a land corridor from Crimea, which it annexed in 2014, and the eastern Donbas region that is partly held by Moscow-backed separatists, Britain Defense Ministry has said.
After the break, a look at all the latest sports news.
If it's happening and you need to know about it, you'll get it all right here. EAC News brings you updates and breaking news in English across all of our platforms and channels. The EAC News app, YouTube, Facebook, Telegram, Twitter, and our website www.eacnews.asia. Join me and the rest of the EAC News team every day on your favorite channels. EAC News, Cambodia made clear.
Novak Djokovic plans to use this challenging experiences he has endured this year due to being unvaccinated against COVID-19 as fuel for the rest of the season, the world number one said on Sunday 10th of April ahead of his return to action in Monte Carlo.
The 20 times Grand Slam champion was unable to defend his Australian Open title in January after being deported from the country, having initially been admitted to the tournament despite not taking the vaccine. Obviously, I missed competition. I still feel motivation to be on the tour and compete with the young guys and try to challenge the best players in the world for the biggest titles. Obviously, the last 4 or 5 months have been really challenging for me mentally and emotionally. But here I am, and I try to leave all of that behind and move on. Serbian Djokovic told reporters. I don't feel it has left huge scars that I'm unable to train or participate in tournaments or live my life. Far from that. But it has been a challenging few months and something I never experienced before. So I will try to use that as a fuel for what's coming up. Djokovic begins his clay court campaign against Spaniard Alejandro Davidovich Fokina at the Monte Carlo Masters on Tuesday, 12th of April. Meanwhile, defending champion Stefanos Tsitsipas is hoping to replicate his run at the tournament with fond memories of last year's triumph. Second seed Alexander Zverev is uncertain about his form and admits he normally struggles with the conditions in Monte Carlo.
Ferrari's Charles Leclerc claimed his second win of the Formula One season with a thumping pole-to-victory flag at the Australian Grand Prix on Sunday 10th of April as Red Bull's world champion Max Verstappen suffered a déjà vu with another retirement. Leclerc's car was dominated on an upgraded Albert Park circuit as the Monster-Q sealed its fourth career win, more than 20 seconds ahead of Red Bull's runner-up Sergio Perez. Third place George Russell grabbed his second podium for his first for Mercedes in encouraging day for the struggling Constructors Championships. What a race, what a pace, said the thrilled Leclerc on the team radio, having finished more than 20 seconds ahead of Perez in the 58th lap race. Winner of the season opener in Bahrain, 24-year-old Leclerc has now built a 34-point lead over Russell that emerges early favourite from the Drivers' Championship. Ferrari's celebrations were tempered by Carlos Sainz crashing out shortly after the start, while 4 times world champion Sebastian Vettel of Aston Martin crashed his car on his return after missing the opening race due to COVID-19. Verstappen was second behind Leclerc when the RB18 car suffered a reliability problem and rolled to a halt during the 39th lap with the smoke blowing. It was a similar outcome to the season opener in Bahrain, where Verstappen retired 3 laps from the end while off course for a second place finish. Lewis Hamilton finished 4th for Mercedes after starting 5th on the grid, having been passed by Russell due to the safety car deployment. McLaren's Lando Norris and Daniel Ricciardo finished 5th and 6th respectively as the team showed improvement after a poor start to the season. Vettel's crash saw the safety car deployed again, and Russell capitalised by pitting before rejoining in 3rd place ahead of Perez and Hamilton. Leclerc's lead was wiped out by a safety car and nearly taken out by Verstappen swooped after the restart, but the Musqueam saw off the Dutchman and built his lead to finish. Alex Albon started 19th on the grid but finished 10th, grabbing his first point for Williams after managing his hard tyres virtually on finish. Organisers said that estimate of 420,000 people flocked to Albert Park over the race weekend, making it the biggest attendance for the week sporting event in Australia. World number one Scotty Scheffler held rocksteady and cruised through a 3-shot victory at the Masters on Sunday the 10th of April, while Cameron Smith's green jacket hopes, like so many others, disappeared in watery grave in Amen Corner.
World number one Scotty Scheffler held rock steady and cruised to a 3-shot victory at the Masters on Sunday, while Cameron Smith's green jacket hopes, like so many others, disappeared in a watery grave in Amen Corner. Scheffler started the final round at sunny Augusta National with a 3-shot advantage over Australian Smith and quickly saw it chopped to 1 after 2 holes. But the 25-year-old American did not panic, carding a 1 under 71 to post a winning total of 10 under 278, 3 clear of Rory McIlroy, to collect his first major title. McIlroy had the round of the day by returning an 8 under 64 as the Northern Irishman made a stirring late charge in a bid to claim the elusive Masters title that would have allowed him to complete the career Grand Slam. The year's first major was poised for a thrilling showdown between the planet's 2 hottest golfers, in Scheffler, winner of 3 of his last 5 PGA Tour starts, and Smith, who claimed golf's unofficial 5th major at the Players' Championship in March as they headed out in the final pairing. That was exactly the way the final round unfolded until the par 3 12th in the heart of notorious Amen Corner, when Smith, tailing Scheffler by 3, put his tee shot into Rays Creek and took a triple bogey 6, sending him down the leaderboard. Smith slumped to a second bogey on the par 3 4th, and suddenly Scheffler was back in command and up by 4. As Scheffler and Smith started the back 9, an ominous warning sounded as a mighty roar rolled across Augusta National after McIlroy carded an eagle at the 13th to get to 6 under for the tournament. That left the Irishman 5 back of Scheffler and 1 behind Smith, raising pressure on the pair as they entered Amen Corner, holes 11, 12, and 13, and perhaps the most famous stretch of golf real estate where so many Masters have been won and lost. A long birdie putt at 11 by Smith triggered an explosion of cheers that would have been heard back home in Brisbane. Then came the 12th, where so many green jacket dreams have turned into nightmares, Smith's now among them after his tee shot found the water.
Now let's have a look at the weather and what you can expect for tomorrow. And finally, after a 2-year absence, people are antsy to celebrate the Khmer New Year again, the Year of the Tiger. From the 6th to the 10th of April, Phnom Penh celebrated Songkran early with a fantastic festival held at Moradok Tekchol National Stadium. The EAC news team attended the festival to see what sorts of activities and celebrations were held. The Minister of Tourism presided over the opening of the ceremony of the festival on the 6th of April, officially kicking off the festival celebrations. There were many fun activities and performances on offer during the 5 days of the festival, including traditional Ramvong social dancing, traditional games like grab a tree branch, and over 300 stores selling local and international products. Lots of scrumptious food stores were also scattered around the festival grounds where local could grab and relax and grab a snack. Sacheta, a vendor at the event, said that she was very thankful to have events like this festival once again because it is important for her business and ensures that she can continue to provide jobs and income for her staff during the pandemic. She added that she feels safe now because of the safety measures organisers have put into place, including alcohol sanitising spray, an on-location ambulance and a mask-wearing mandate.
I like that this festival supports local products and many people have joined this event. What I appreciate most is that out of 10 people, all 10 wear their masks. So they joined this event, but never forget to follow the 3 do's and 3 don'ts.
The 5-day festival featured several TikTok competitions, with TikTok stars competing for the first ever TikTok award given in Cambodia, and to simply raise money for the Kunta Pupa Children's Hospital. Bol Rankik, one of the festival's organisers, said that she was surprised to see so many people had actually turned out for the event. While speaking to her, she was especially passionate about raising money for Kunta Pupa Hospital.
One of the things that we are doing here is also raising funds for Kunta Pupa Children's Hospital, because this hospital has helped many children in Cambodia, millions even, so the hospital has saved many children. Even my child was treated at a hospital for free, so all of us should help chip in with what little we can do to help contact with Pa.
A handful of superstar singers also performed throughout the day before the EDM event took over to close out the night. There was plenty of space for people to rest and eat in festival grounds, including water fountains to play around. An incredible fireworks display was also held during the night. In addition to dancing, playing traditional games, watching concerts or traditional theatre, adults and children also can enjoy fun rides, trampolines, bouncing castles and other carnival amusement games to win teddy bears and stuffed animals. The festive was concluded with a beauty pageant and contest between the TikTok stars was held on stage for all to see. Thank you for watching the Daily Roundup here on the EAC News Channel. For more breaking news and updates, check our websites eacnews.asia or search EAC News on Telegram, Smart TV or your favourite app store. More from the EAC News team tomorrow night at 8 p.m. We'll see you then.